Hi, my name is Dale Maley, and in this video we're going to take a look at a whole bunch of amazing, rather large hand-cranked wood toys I have designed and built, and they all transport the larger 1-inch diameter marbles. Now these are all fairly complex mechanisms. So for each large model, I think there's about 6 of them. First we'll review the primary features of that model. Then we'll have a short video which shows that toy or model in action. I don't think you'll ever see so many large and unique mechanisms in one video. So sit back and enjoy. Now the first model we're going to look at is a very interesting mechanism that lifts one marble at a time. And here's a photograph of the setup. The key features on this, you can see where the crank handle is. The crank drives a worm gear, and the worm gear has a 20-to-1 gear reduction ratio. So if kids can crank this model up to 100 RPM, if you divide that by the 20 ratio, that means the model will run at a maximum of 5 RPM, which is about right for this model. This model actually utilizes two what they call 4-bar linkages, and you can see them identified. There's one on the right. I've called it 4-bar linkage number 1. There's one on the left which is called 4-bar linkage number 2. And in a second you'll see how the marbles get lifted up by one of the 4-bar linkages, transferred to the second 4-bar linkage. Then it's let off at the top and follows a channel and a full marble loop feeder bowl back to the beginning. The second model we're going to look at I call the grain elevator concept, because when I was a kid on the farm we had a grain elevator that would lift shelled corn or shelled soybeans up 50 feet or 100 feet in the air, and then they go down tubes into storage bins, and it used a rubber belt with buckets to hold the grain. So I modified that concept here. Instead of a belt, we have a wooden chain with 2 sprockets. Then I came up with marble carriers, like buckets, that the marbles go into at the bottom, and when they get up to the top they come out. And then they go into divider 1, which sends them alternating directions. And one of those goes down stairways and some feeder or some bowls down the beginning. The other one goes to another second divider block, and that sends it down a purple path or down kind of a ramp and hits a bell and returns to the beginning. Now the worm gear on this one is also 20-to-1, which means if kids crank it at 100 RPM, it'll net out at 5 RPM. Now this next model utilizes a marble pump, and you can see it shown in the drawing here. It's that block down there. It's really too complicated to explain on this short video, but basically it's like a one-cylinder car engine inside, and you turn the crankshaft, and this actually has a metal crankshaft inside, which every revolution forces the marble up one turn. And you'll see that pretty clearly when you watch the video. When the marbles come out at the top, they come out pretty rapidly too. There's a divider block there sending in two different alternating directions. In one direction they go down some chutes and some bowls to the return back to the beginning. The other direction go through a flipper, and the flipper drops it down onto a chute, and again it goes down a track, actually goes down a little stairway to a blue bowl, and comes back to the beginning. Now this next model uses a different way to raise the marbles. It utilizes three large gears. They're 9-inch diameter gears, and in the face of the gears there's holes drilled in there. So the marbles go into the holes in the gear, and as the gears turn, the marbles go on up to the top where they come out of the gear. And using three gears, the marbles get lifted up about 14-15 inches to the top. When they come out, first they go into a divider block, which alternates between two directions. And then we have a second divider block here to alternate the paths again. So there's different paths for the marbles to go to get back to the beginning. On this one, the worm gear set has got a 12-to-1 ratio, which means if kids crank at 100 RPM, the model will run about 8 RPM, which is about right for this model. This next model is a fairly complex one. It actually utilizes cams and lifters to lift the marbles step by step up to the top. So it has 8 lifters and their cams per cam box, and there's actually 2 sets of cam boxes, as you'll see in the video. This model uses 3 of those divider blocks to send the marbles in all different directions. It includes a bell on one of the paths. There's also 2 different types of circular staircases, and there's even a bobbing person, as you'll see in the video. Now this is the most recent model that I've built, and it's probably the most complex. It has at least 9 different mechanisms in a very small space. The features in here include worm gear, U-joints, bevel gears, peg gears, spur gears, a fan, an oscillator, a pounding rack, and a marble lift, and a wood chain. As you'll see in the video, this model has a lot of action and a lot of things going on in a small space. Now this first model is simply called the large marble machine. The original design was done by an engineer by the name of Richard Brown, who is now deceased. I revised that design, and that's what we're going to see today of the large marble machine. And I also designed and built a small demonstrator marble machine. We'll take a look at that also. Now the 5 main key design features in the large marble machine. First one is a marble storage chamber at the top that holds 26 marbles. Also in the top is the marble release mechanism. Also there's a divider which sends the marbles to 2 alternating different paths. There's a push button linkage which starts the game. There's a bucket at the bottom which releases the next marble. Now unfortunately these 5 key features are hidden inside the finished machine. So how do you illustrate these key features to children and adults? So I decided to build a demonstrator or illustrator, a small version of the big marble machine, which demonstrates the 5 key design features. It's an open type design, and I even use some clear plastic so you can see things clearly. And when I take these models out for exhibitions, I take both the small model and the large one because the small one explains how the big model works. So let's use a video method. Let's review how the little illustrator machine works. Okay, so let's start out on this illustrator model, And let's load in a marble in the top. Now that little chute on the top will actually hold 6 marbles for this demonstrator. You can see the white marble is held in place. Those 2 green pegs keep it from rolling out. That's actually a little flipper right there. The red piece is a flipper. And if that flipper is raised, the white marble will go over the green pegs. So it's raised by a long skinny dowel rod red, which you can see here. So we'll go back and manually raise it, and you'll see the marble escape and roll to the right. Okay. Well, that lifter is actually connected to the push button in front. So if we push the push button, it raises this up and releases the marble. Now the next thing is a divider, and this divider works all by itself. It alternates and sends the marble from either one side or the other. So right now it's going to go down and go to the right and go that way. The next time the marble will come down and push it to the other side like that. It's a pretty neat little device. So let's load another marble in. We'll push the push button and we should see the white marble come down and go to the right path. This time it should go to the left path. And it did. Then I just have some alternating blocks so that when it goes down that path, it goes down to the bottom. Same thing on the other side. Now let's go look at the mechanism in back, which is rather ingenious. This orange piece connects to the push button on the front, and if it's pushed in, you'll see it raises the blue piece on top and then raises that green disc. That in turn raises that little flapper in top, which releases a marble. The red connecting rod runs all the way down to this purple block, and I call this the bucket over here. So normally the bucket is up. When a marble comes down, the weight of the marble, it goes in the blue bucket, the weight of the marble pushes that down, which in turn raises this end up, the red long linkage pin, and releases the next marble. So let's watch one in action. Okay, we will release a marble by pushing it up. And you can see it go down. The next time the marble should come to the other side. The green side to the right. And there it went. So this device is ingenious, and it continues to run as long as there are marbles in the machine. Now the illustrator is fully loaded with 6 marbles, and let's watch them run automatically. Let's push the button to begin. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Now, before we run the actual big marble machine, let's take it apart first and show you the main elements inside that you can't really see when it's operating. So let's take the top off, which holds the 26 marbles and that little flapper assembly. Then the back is held on by some brass screws, so we'll take that off. I do have instructions on the back inside here how the thing should operate and how it should be properly adjusted. Now you can see inside the main assembly. Up here in this part is where the push button is. It starts the game. You can see the long red rod runs all the way down. That connects the bucket at the bottom. And what it does, it raises up and pushes that pin on the top with the 26 marbles. And that lets it cycle each time. So you can see the whole assembly here. Now let's put it back together and watch it run all by itself. So when the marbles are discharged by the top member, they can take two different paths and they will alternate the paths. So let's just take a look at it's a green path or the yellow path. So let's just follow the green path as it works its way down and note the main features. So it discharges out of the box here on the green, comes around the box. Over on this side is a rather unique little U-curve where it goes down and comes around. And then my grandson calls this the wiggle waggle because the marble goes back and forth as it goes down that path. Drops down into the next green track. Basically just goes around the box and keeps coming around. Drops again down there. Then it goes inside. This is rather unique. It drops and goes inside the box. As you can see, the hole there. The hole goes in here. So the marble goes in there. You can't see it inside the box. It's got a little chute inside. It discharges back out here. Comes down into the green track. Falls down into here. Comes back around. Then it kind of alternates as it goes around here. Comes back down here. Makes a big curve around this way. And then feeds into that little bucket inside. Now let's take a look at the yellow track. First thing it does, it comes out of the top dispenser through a hole, falls down into another chute, which you can't see, but it takes it inside the box. Then it comes out of the box, right here, comes over, goes down this chute to a flipper, and the flipper takes it over and dumps it into the next chute over here. It goes around the box, comes all the way back around again, drops down, comes down, and then it goes down a very unique circular staircase, and it makes a distinctive sound as it goes down that staircase. And then it goes back inside into that bucket to drop the bucket and send the next marble down. Now let's hit the start button one time and we'll watch 6 marbles run out. First one is a black marble on the green track. The next one will be running down the yellow track. Here comes the yellow marble running on the yellow track through the flipper, and it's going to come down to the circular staircase. The next marble will be on the green track, so it's a red marble running on the green track. Next one will be running on the yellow track, and it's a black marble running on the yellow track through the flipper, and it's going to come down to the circular staircase. The next one is a blue marble running on the green track this time. And the last for number 6 marble is a red marble running on the yellow track. If we would load this with all 26 marbles, I think it takes 16 minutes for all 26 marbles to run automatically through the machine. Well, we've reached the end of this video. So in summary, this video shows 7 different types of larger hand-cranked wood models that use 1-inch size marbles. Now each of these 7 models has its own YouTube video, so if you're interested in one or more of them, you can just search in my channel and you can watch a video dedicated to each of the models. I hope this video helps you on your projects, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Thank you.